The courage to give thanks anyway. This week, as we approach Thanksgiving here, and I encourage you all to have a time of gratitude. This week I've been sitting with a question that feels both simple and kind of impossible, I guess. How do we give thanks, honestly, when the world is in such pain, such disarray and chaos? How do we give thanks when things are so upside down from the way that we have always thought them to be? When the headlines are full of war and displacement, when the political noise feels like a constant storm, when the planet itself seems to be crying out for a breath. How do we give thanks? It's so tempting to shut down and to look away, to say, I'll be grateful when things get better, but I can't deal with it now. But then I go back and I hear something like Ray Jones' words from last week, and if you didn't hear it, boy, that's an advantage to being online. You can still go back and take it in. It was powerful. And Ray talked about waking up to a new life, and how a new life always bumps up against the old in some way, about how every birth and creation involves a breaking open of something, and how maybe, just maybe, gratitude can be one of the few containers that can stretch enough to hold both what was and what is to come. Think about it. Here at Firebird Spirit, we don't deny the ashes. We rise through them, hence our image of the Firebird rising. And in that same way, gratitude and giving thanks, they're not soft things. They're not passive. It's not just something we do to be polite. It takes courage to be thankful in times like these. Thanksgiving is when the soul says, yes, even here, even now, we can be grateful. Not because everything's okay, but because something sacred is still alive within us. It's like feeling and, I guess, recognizing our gratitude. It's like that becomes an act of resistance. It becomes the quiet refusal to let fear or despair define the moment. I'm not going to let them win. I'm still going to be thankful. I will still feel gratitude. And that is what keeps the spark of light glowing inside us and growing inside us. Ray said it so clearly. New life keeps bumping up against the old. The way of Jesus was never about protecting the old ways, the old wineskins he talked about. It is always about pouring new wine, new outlooks, resetting ourselves to new possibilities and pouring those into human hearts. They become, though, the wine of compassion, of courage, inclusion, and healing. And that's what gratitude does, too. It keeps us supple. It keeps us human and growing and ever new. It keeps us awake to the possibility that Spirit is still creating right now through us. We don't give up because the Spirit is still alive. For that, we can certainly be grateful. So what does Thanksgiving look like at a time like this? Well, it looks like people showing up with food for neighbors that maybe they've never met before. Maybe it means buying just an extra can of something at the grocery store and saving them up for a few days when we go, and taking what we don't absolutely need and sharing that with a food cupboard. Maybe it looks like healthcare workers who are still showing up, and teachers who are still showing up, and artists who are still creating beauty from the wreckage. It looks like government workers continuing to work without pay, or people traveling even with great delays in flights because they want to see their families, their friends. That resistance shows up when love is greater than inconvenience. Thanksgiving and gratitude, they look like climate activists planting trees and strangers holding signs that say, "All of us belong here." Thanksgiving looks like you and me sitting still for a moment, taking a deep breath, and whispering, "Thank you. Thank you that life persists. Thank you that love still has work to do in us. Thank you that the spark of your light still shines in the hearts and the dreams of people around the world. Thank you." That's what courage looks like now. It's not the loud kind, it's the quiet, steady, daily kind. So this year, instead of asking, "What are we thankful for?" like I did at the beginning, let's ask, what are we thankful to be part of? What are we thankful that we are becoming? What are we thankful for being? Because when we remember to say thanks like that, then we are acknowledging, remembering, and remembering that we are part of something larger that is living and a breathing web of connection. We realize that gratitude isn't just personal, it is collective, it's communal. Every act of thanks becomes a small act of repair. Whether we know where the repair is going to happen, whether we know the individual that it will connect with, doesn't matter. We are emanating those energies, those thoughts, the act of being, and every breath that we take helps to remake the world. Maybe this is what Jesus meant when he lifted the bread and he gave thanks, and not because the world was healed, but because love is still present in it. And we can do that every day at our table, every day as we awaken and say a morning prayer, "Thank you for bringing me through the night," every night as we lie down. So as we move toward Thanksgiving Day here, or as we just enter into some form of giving thanks wherever you are, let's not rush to feel cheerful. Let's be real. Let's hold the tension between gratitude and grief, between the beauty that is and the brokenness that is, because both still demand our careful attention. Let's give thanks for those who rise and heal and build and protest, and those who imagine, reclaim, but in new ways. Let's give thanks for all who keep loving across the dividing lines that the world tries to place over us. Let's give thanks for every time that hope sparks, even when the night feels long. Because the truth is, the new life that God is birthing cannot fit into the old forms, the old structures, the old ways of being. And gratitude, real gratitude, is one of the first signs that we are willing to change shape, to become the shapeshifters that the world needs us to be right now, to help it change its shape, to be who God needs us to be right now, who God's calling us to be right now. So, my friends, may our thanks be fierce, our tables be wide and long. May our hearts be brave enough to stretch and hold on a new life that Spirit is pouring into our world. And when the old and the new collide, as they always do, may we find ourselves saying with quiet faith and unyielding love, I will give thanks anyway. Amen. Amen.